Ferris High School Sports Show. Jeff DiVeronica flying solo for this one. It's a special interview with one of the most decorated coaches in Section 5 track and field in cross-country history. His name is Mike DeMay from Rush-Henrietta. He's going to join us in a minute on our specialty Skype hotline. He is a Section 5 track and field Hall of Famer and has coached Olympians and some of the most talented track athletes in the history of the Rochester area for high school sports. Let's welcome him on now from a mobile destination. Joining us, Mike, you're in your 23rd year now coaching at Rush-Henrietta. You do all 3 seasons, cross country, indoor track, outdoor track. I guess, how did you get into this first? You're a native of Newark. Did you think one day I'm going to be coaching track for this long? So tell us about your start in the coaching world for track.
It actually started back in high school. I had 3 great mentors, Bob Goodell, Joe Contario, and Dale Ladd. And even in high school, I used to do spreadsheets with, listing performances on our own team. In my yearbook, my senior yearbook, I put one of the things I wanted to do was to be a high school track and field coach. And so growing up through adulthood, my friendship with Coach Ladd continued to grow, and he brought me along with him to Marcus Whitman, helping at Newark, and then of course he actually got a job at Rush-Henrietta and brought me with him and handed me the clipboard and said, "Here, start coaching." So that's pretty much how it all got started, and I learned a lot of things from those 3 great men and brought that into my own coaching and my own beliefs and philosophies melded together, and this is where we're at.
What was the Rush-Henrietta program like before you took over in 2000? What were the numbers like? Participation numbers I know are really great now, but what were they like then? And I guess if you did pump up the numbers, how'd you get that done?
The numbers, indoor track, they barely had enough to field relays. They had some good athletes throughout all the years, but as far as a track program or team effort, they just didn't have the numbers. And I'm not sure. I can't really say anything too much about what coaches did or didn't do, but it was a number of years, might have been up to 15 years, that even though they did have some success individuals, it wasn't there as a program. Kind of feel like it was almost like the doormat or the floor mat of Monroe County. Came along, and one of the things right out of the gate, Coach Ladd actually came up with it, is waking the sleeping giant up. And we actually had a shirt the first year that had that as our team shirt, was the sleeping giant awakes. So after a few years, the numbers continued to grow. I started taking kids to invites outside of Monroe County, taking trips down to New York State or New York City, and eventually just continued to grow. I had Mike Burke, who was a former RH athlete back in the 70s. He started coaching the mods in cross country, and from there we just exploded. Once he got in there and started feeding us those kids from the junior high, it all just started taking off in the mid 2000s and beyond. So I've always said that to have a great high school team, you need to have a great modified program. And so without that, we probably wouldn't be where we are today.
We're going to talk in our part 2 of this interview about some of the top athletes you've ever coached. Obviously, some of the best ever in Section 5 history. But I want to ask you about a lot of coaches are teachers. You're not a teacher. Tell us about your career and how you've been able to pull this off, even though you're not someone who works in the school district.
Well, I started helping out, volunteering in the early 90s at East Rochester, was a modified cross-country coach, and my boss let me out to do that. And as I got this offer to start coaching at the high school level at Rush-Henrietta, I actually switched jobs, and my negotiation was I needed to leave at a certain time in order to fulfill my dream. And they went with it because they wanted me to start up this paint shop. So it all kind of worked out, and from there they've just really supported me in the coaching, and they get recognized as well through those AGR awards and whatnot that I get to mention where I work. So it's been the job I have is an operations manager at a sheet metal machining, painting, powder coating shop. So, I had opportunities my younger years to maybe pursue teaching, but I also feel that my job, not being a teacher, allows me to have a lot more patience than I might have been with the kids all day. So, again, I think things happen for a reason, and I feel blessed how things have played out for me.
Before we head to break, what is the name of your company that you work for?
It's manufacturing, WECO Manufacturing.
Very cool. So thanks to them, all you Rush-Henrietta athletes, a big thank you to them, because without them, you wouldn't be getting Coach DeMay every single day and every single season. We'll take a quick break, come back, talk more with Coach Mike DeMay from Rush-Henrietta right here on the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show.
I'm a biomedical sciences major. My goal is to one day open up my own pediatric office. I want to create an environment almost similar to the environment that Roberts creates for me. I want them to walk into the doctor's office and feel love. When I got here, I was just like, yeah, this is home. This is where I need to be. Be prepared for an adventure, be prepared for a journey, and enjoy the journey.
Have you recently bought a home, or have you been in your home for 5 years or more? Have you looked at your ductwork?
If not properly cleaned, air ducts can become contaminated with dust, pollen, or even mold. This can impact the air that you're breathing.
Check us out online and schedule your appointment today.
Why do you exercise? To look better? To feel better? To drop a few pounds? To train for an event? To defy age? Or to keep your ability to say yes to the things you love to do? Whatever motivates you, G&G Fitness Equipment is here to get you there. Treadmills, ellipticals, rowers, bikes, home gyms, and accessories. We'll pair you with the right equipment, teach you how to use it, and be there every step of your fitness journey. G&G Fitness. Your goal is our goal.
Sweet baby, oh baby,
There's a path to success full of challenges, rewards, inspiration, and strength. A strength that only the U.S. Army Reserve can give you. The skills and experiences you'll get will give you an advantage in your civilian life. Stay close to home, train to develop your strengths, and get on a path to success. Find out more at goarmy.com/reserve.
For more information, contact Syracuse Army Recruiting Center, 315-449-2830. There's strong. Then there's Army Strong, paid for by the U.S. Army.
Welcome back to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. Jeff DiVeronica flying solo. We have on our specialties Skype hotline Coach Mike DeMay from Rush-Henrietta Track and Field and Cross Country. But before we talk to Coach DeMay again, let's tell you about one of our great sponsors on our program, the United States Army. You see all the phone numbers on your screen. Connect with our local recruiters. There are more than 150 different careers in the U.S. Army. The Army can help pay for your college education. Let me say that again. The Army can help pay for your college education. If you're not sure what you want to do with your next step, talk to the Army. They have great programs. They have 2-year programs, 4-year programs to help you find the right path in your life. So please give them a call and tell them you heard about it right here on the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. All right, let's go back to our specialty Skype hotline. It's just going to be a hotline right now, not Skype. But we're going to have on Coach Mike DeMay is back with us for part 2. And Coach, you have, you've coached more than 20 All-Americans, 23 State Federation champions, 14-time All-Greater Rochester Coach of the Year, 3 state championships, more than 38 Section 5 titles, 245 individual titles for your athletes. This is probably unmatched in track and cross country in our area. But there are 3 that stand out among the most talented and most successful. Who are those 3? And let's break it down for our audience. They're certainly names that people will remember. Let's start with Sammy Watson, who I still hope will be in the Olympics one day. Breaking national records for high school. Tell us more about Sammy Watson. When did you know she was going to be so special?
Oh, well, she came up as a 7th grader, and her first race, she ran like 2:35 in the 800 as a 7th grader, which I barely had any kids in the high school level running that fast. And, from there, I try really hard to have a progression of, for my kids, try not to do too much too soon. And so her progression was fantastic, going through the steady improvement throughout her high school career. It keeps them hungry and it keeps them wanting more, keep coming back. And so, hopefully when they leave our program, they can go to the next level and also be competitive and want to do it that way too. Want to go to college and whatnot and continue to compete. So, yeah, 235 out of the gate, and she is definitely one that is extremely humble. You wouldn't know it walking around talking to her that she is as successful as she is, and she's very, very good at accommodating anyone coming up to her and saying, "Hey, can I have your autograph?" or talking to her. And she was just very gracious with that as well, as she moved on junior, senior year and had all that success.
Then she had a great start to her career at A&M, Texas A&M. Where is she now? And where is she now? And are there still Olympic thoughts in her head? Obviously, if you do know the answer to that.
Oh yeah, we continue to talk, and actually this summer I got a chance to coach her for about 7 weeks as she was transitioning from one training group to the other. And, we're trying to find her stride going into the Olympic trials. And she's had some ups and downs after high school and moving into college. It was just a different atmosphere, and it didn't really work out for her too well in college. So she ended up turning pro, went to Philadelphia, worked with a training group there, sponsored by Adidas. And then she was there for a little bit, and now she is out at USC training with that group. And coincidentally, Lanae had been out there as well on their track and field team. So she is still looking to make the Olympic team, and that's what she's aspiring to. She really loves her new training group and has run really well as of late. So I see big things over the summer for her.
You mentioned Lanae-Tava Thomas, who another one of your most talented athletes who went to USC, and certainly maybe a little bit later bloomer than Sammy was, but a lot of I remember a lot of moxie from that young lady, and I mean a lot of drive, a lot of enthusiasm. She brought like a real spirit to the sport to the sport and to competing. That's what I recall about her. Tell me more about Lanae-Tava Thomas.
Actually, Lanae and Sammy are very much the opposite. Sammy's kind of stays to herself, and Lanae, she's extremely, she's outgoing, very personable, happy-go-lucky. happy-go-lucky, but a fierce competitor. I mean, she hates to lose. She always wants to improve, and has demonstrated that fight and drive throughout her career so far. At USC, she was on one of the best relays 4x1s in the world, not just in the collegiate level. So her success continues on at the college level, and she too aspires to make the Olympic team someday. So right now she transferred to Texas. It was going to be a better situation for her with the coaching staff change at USC. She just felt the change was going to help her out in the long run. So that's where she's at now.
And then the third in this class was a young lady who she didn't make as many headlines as a high school athlete, but she certainly did after that. And she's competed in the Olympics as a race walker. Tell us a little bit more about Miranda Melville.
Miranda Melville is kind of a unique story. As a freshman, she was throwing the shot put and really kind of trying to fit in and find something. So I suggested the race walk. Her first time walking, she did the 1500 in 10:30, and she fell in love with it. And at the time, Section 5 race walking was very popular and very competitive. So she kind of got into that. By the time she was a junior, she was one of the best walkers in Section 5. She actually earned All-American at the Nike Nationals in Maryland her junior and senior year. And then she went to Wisconsin Parkside, which is a really good race walk school. And she got into a really good situation there. And she's developed into one of the best ever race walkers in the United States history, with numerous national records, numerous making USA teams or overseas, extremely successful at that level, and US Olympian at Rio in 2016. So one of the most coolest things I've ever had is she came back after Rio and had her Olympic jersey framed and with her bib number on it, and she gave that to me. It's one of the most treasured gifts I've ever received. So it's good relationship, and certainly her hard work and determination has paid off in her career as well.
Mike, what's your secret to getting the best out of kids and getting them to perform and want to come to practice every day? I mean, sometimes the training can be grueling. A lot of the times it can be. What's your secret?
Well, I have a training plan, but I think the mistake some coaches make is they try to stay with that plan. I try really hard to read the kids. How was their day? Where are they in the school years at exam week? Their body language. Certainly the stress of school and track practice or cross country practice. Really just kind of reading them as individuals and getting a feel for, okay, what can we handle today that's going to help them be better? And I don't overwork the kids, don't overtrain them. One of the things is sometimes less is more. And so we don't run a lot of miles, whereas opposed some programs, they run a lot of miles, and we just keep it with what we feel is going to benefit us the most. And maybe it's less miles, better quality. But I think the biggest thing is just being able to read the kids and not talk at them, but talk with them, talk to them. And I think that's helped us out a lot over the years.
That's great advice from Mike DeMay, one of the foremost Section 5 running coaches in the history of the sports, I should say. Mike, 23 years now, 23 seasons at Rush since back to when down to 2000. How much longer do you plan on doing this?
Jeff, when my kids start competing, they toe the line, they get on the runway or the circle, I still get butterflies in my stomach as if I'm competing. And when I lose that, I know I'm done.
Cool.
So I still get it. I still get excited and anxious, and I don't sleep at night when it's big competitions. Just like they get all hyped up as well. So that's where I'm at. I still have a passion and excited for it. I don't know what the timeline is, and maybe I keep coaching until I tip over. I don't know.
Before we let you go, any studs, any stars we need to be on the lookout for this spring as Section 5 returns to a more normalcy post-pandemic in Section 5 track? Any Rush stars we should be looking out for?
Well, we have a great middle distance runner in Gabe Watson. The last name might sound familiar, and that he is the baby brother of Sammy and Nick and CC. All the Watsons have run for me. They have an older sister, Chelsea, who spent a little time in a track program as well. And certainly OJ Singletary, one of the top sprinters, long sprinters in Section 5. Both those guys went to the state meet in indoor in their respective events. And then on the girls' side, we have Haley Smith, one of the better distance runners in Section 5. She also went to the state meet indoors in the 3K. She's a 3-time now AGR athlete, 2 times in cross country, once in track. And then we just have a plethora of young faces that we're still learning. We had a meet this Tuesday, and so a lot of we're starting to see them compete and the passion that they have. And so it's going to be a very exciting year. Team-wise, I'm not sure where we're going to end up at the end, but I tell you, I'm having a ton of fun with this group, and we might make some noise this year, but I think certainly the next couple of years, RH will be one of the more competitive teams again.
Well, we appreciate making some time for us. I want to thank you for all you've done for Section 5 track coverage locally. And you've always been a great resource for the Democratic Chronicle when I was there, and I know you continue to be for James Johnson and the staff there. And thanks for all you've done for the kids of Section 5 and getting the best out of them and helping them learn and grow from participating in athletics.
It's been fun. I'm a coordinator for cross country, and I get to meet a lot of great kids and coaches. So it's an awesome job to have, and I've really benefited from that as a person.
Mike DeMay, folks. Thank you for being on the show, Mike, from Rush-Henrietta. And we will head off to another end of the show and tell you we appreciate you watching us right here on Rock Sports Now and on YouTube. Tell your friends and neighbors and share the links. And all you young coaches out there, there's a lot of great advice from Mike DeMay on this interview. So please check that out and share it with them. Thanks for watching us right here on the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show.